Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Thank you for watching my YouTube presentation. I want to talk about bad Vlad Putin. So I got a new book coming out in September. It's called Confronting Evil. Bad Vlad's on the cover. And he's with old Adolf, and he's with the Ayatollah Khomeini, and he's with Mao Zedong. You can only get 4 of them on the cover. There's a lot more evildoers within the pages of the book. And again, that'll be out in September. Anyway, I learned so much that I did not know about Putin and the damage that he has done over the years. So let me give you a little rundown of who he is. So he's born in St. Petersburg, Russia. His father was a World War II vet, drunk, beat Vlad, horrible human being. And Vlad was a hustler because they didn't have any money. Nobody did. And he organized a little gang. He was like a little gang member in St. Petersburg, which was named Leningrad because the communists renamed it when they took over. And he rose a very smart man, ruthless, obviously, got into the KGB, and he was based in Eastern Germany, where he terrorized German people after World War II, because the KGB pretty much called the shots. The German secret police called it Stasi, but the KGB was in charge. And Putin was the big guy. In Dresden, I believe he was. Horrible what he did. He actually, his office, the KGB offices, had a torture chamber in the basement. And Vlad liked it. He liked the job. So then the Berlin Wall came down, and Vlad got booted back to Russia, where he organized another gang. Now he's a young man, but he's got power because he's got the KGB thing. They disbanded the KGB, but Yeltsin, the big fat drunk who ran Russia when the Soviet Union fell apart, he needed a ruthless SOB like Putin. So Putin, kissed his butt and got into Moscow. And then the rest is history, as they say. He rose up and he killed his opposition. And the guy is just unbelievable. So now Putin is causing all kinds of trouble in the world, as everybody knows. This is just stunning. Putin would not talk to President Biden. The last time they talked was 2022. Putin gave him a heads up that he was going to invade Ukraine and said, hey, Joe, you don't like it? F you. We're going to do what we want, because he didn't say we don't have any respect for you, but of course that's what it was. Because in the 4 years of Trump's first term, Putin didn't do any of this. He invaded Crimea during Obama. He invaded Ukraine during Biden. Putin thought Biden was a weak, corrupt guy. He didn't want anything to do with him. And he knew that Biden wasn't going to do anything, was going to be ineffective, which Biden was. Trump is back. Now, I have asked Trump personally 5 times, can you give me a hint on what you and Joe have in common? You and Vlad have in common? Give me something. I don't know why you guys have this relationship. He wouldn't tell me. Trump wouldn't tell me. He just said, look, it's better for America if I get along with Putin and Xi and the other villains. Little rocket man in North Korea. Now, I think Trump would get along with the mullahs in Iran if they weren't so insane, because they want to kill him. It's hard to get along with somebody who wants to kill you. Anyway, Putin, I don't want to use the word respects, because I don't think Putin respects anything. But Putin will deal with Trump. Now, whether he relishes it or I don't know. But Putin had no use for Obama, no use for Biden, but he will deal with Trump. And he'll get a deal on Ukraine. You wait and see. They'll get a deal. But it's not going to be all Trump's way. But I think Trump will get it under control. And Zelensky's going to have to give up some territory, and it's not going to be any NATO. We already know that. So a lot of Americans are going to be angry because they don't want Ukraine to give up any territory. I was on News Nation with Cuomo, because Cuomo this week, and he was going, what about Zelensky? I go, Zelensky didn't have any say about this because he can't fight Putin by himself. He needs the United States money. We've given him an enormous amount of money, and so has Europe. Not as much as we have. But Europe wants this over. The EU does not want this to continue, nor does Trump. Nor do I. You can't just keep doing this. Putin has taken a massive amount of casualties over there. 150,000 dead. I don't know if that number is accurate. That's what the New York Times reports, New York Times. And then 500,000 hurt or wounded or whatever. Those numbers seem a little high to me, but I don't know. Because there's no count. Nobody really doing a count. But Putin's taken massive casualties for what? And the Russian economy is going south. Now, does Putin care? No. He doesn't care about human life or the Russian people. He cares about himself. And with the Russian economy wobbling, there's always a chance the military will rise up and depose him. That's the only way you get Putin out of there. Is the Russian military goes, it's not working. We got to get him out. Because he's a dictator, Putin. Now, Trump knows that. He knows all what I'm telling you. So he's going to give Putin a pathway to save face in Ukraine. And that's what Putin's looking for. So that's why I think a deal will be made. Now, the moral question is, okay, evil people, and Putin's evil. Sorry, he's evil. I can prove it 1,000 ways. When you read Confronting Evil, it'll be right in front of your eyes. There's a school of thought that says you got to deal with them. If they're powerful, even though they're evil. So the British government dealt with Hitler. Remember? 1938, Munich Conference. Okay, Chamberlain. They went over, they shaking hands, signing this, signing that, and Hitler screwed them. And FDR dealt with Stalin. And so did Winston Churchill, Yalta. Now, FDR, this is fascinating. He thought Stalin was going to uphold the agreement after World War II and not occupy all of Eastern Europe. Winston knew that Stalin was going to come, Stalin, another evil, Stalin is in the book too. Churchill knew, but FDR didn't know or didn't want to know. Because at the end of FDR's life, he was kind of delusional at the time. But Putin can't go back on the deal because Putin's not that strong. Stalin, very strong after World War II. And Stalin, said, look, I'm going to do what I want because I control Russia as a dictator. I got the secret police. I got the army. We're still intact. And you guys have populations that don't want any more war. Both America and Great Britain, they don't want any more. Stalin didn't have that problem. If he said to the Russian generals, hey, you're going to march into France, they would have marched into France. It's a difference. But the moral question of dealing with evil people in this world, you got to do it. But you got to do it with a line drawn. And Trump knows that. Trump knows that. You can't go in and surrender like Chamberlain did, the Prime Minister of Great Britain in 1938 with Hitler. Chamberlain surrendered. Hitler just looked at him like... Now, Biden didn't even have an agenda. He couldn't even get into the room. That's how weak he was and disrespected he was. Chinese did whatever they wanted. Putin did whatever they wanted because Biden was so weak. But Trump's a different cat, as Dennis Miller always says. And they know that Trump, you go back on a deal, you don't do what you agree to do, you're going to take that personally. And they also know that America is still very powerful, extremely powerful. So anyway, you got to deal sometimes with evil. That is the bottom line. Vladimir Putin is as evil as they come. We got to deal with him. And I think the war in Ukraine will cease. At least I'm going to say prayers at Mass this Sunday that happens ASAP. Thank you for watching me. please check out the No Spin News on BillO'Reilly.com. We'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.